Hello students, how are you? I hope all of you are okay. This is your biology class by your lecturer MD Asif. I am your teacher Asif, biology lecturer. Today shall we continue our chapter which was started in our previous days, that is the human reproduction. So students, we have discussed about the human reproduction of male reproductive system and female reproductive system. In male we have seen the parts of the male reproductive system like testes, accessory ducts, accessory glands and external genitalia. Like that, in female also we have discussed the female reproductive tract up to the external genitalia. After that we have studied about the gametogenesis. You know this gametogenesis, formation of gamete, the reproductive cell by both the by both the individuals, male and female. Here the by male the gamete is spermatogenesis, where the schematic diagram and the process we have studied. Same thing the oogenesis in the female. Now students, we are proceeding the next topic of the same chapter. As earlier I had mentioned you that this chapter covers 7 marks in the annual examination. By this topic under the chapter human reproduction, the topic name is menstrual cycle, which also called reproductive cycle, which can ask in the examination for 5 marks. So this topic is 5 marks topic and the whole chapter is about 7 marks. So dear students, our topics today is menstrual cycle. See, menstrual cycle is nothing but reproductive cycle. In female, there are certain cyclic events in their reproductive tract, in the reproductive system. Those events are repeated in different phases with certain days. Hence, we consider it as a cycle. What happened here? Reproductively, certain events are happening, certain changes will take seen in a female reproductive system, and those events are going to be repeat after few days. So hence all those phases are considered as a cyclic event. Then we called it as a reproductive cycle. So it is clearly mentioned here, events, something happening, events from one maturation till the next. So this is an menstrual cycle. Usually this cycle start in a female after the puberty to menopause. Here we know what you mean puberty. The puberty is a time to release of first egg, puberty, and menopause is a time where the release of egg is going to be stopped. Okay. So this menstrual cycle shows one of the major event, that is the bleeding. The bleeding is nothing but menstrual. Hence, because of the bleeding, one of the days event in female reproductive system, the bleeding name itself considered as a menstrual. Hence, it is a menstrual cycle. The total duration time of the menstrual cycle is about 20 to 29 days in a healthy woman. This can be changes because of certain stress or health, or you can say the food also. But on our average, the 28 to 29 days are the normal menstrual cycle days. Now this menstrual cycle you may see in other primates. Actually the menstrual cycle is found in primate only. Primate means a primate is a order. In this order, the animals are chimpanzee, gorilla, including human being. These animals shows the menstrual cycle. The other orders, apart from the primate, those mammals showing estrous cycle, where we can say the estrous cycle we find in the other animals, but in primates mammal, where we can say menstrual cycle. Okay, fine. So as I mentioned you that I had told you that there are events. Including those events, we are calling it as a menstrual cycle. So students, the first event which we consider as a one menstrual phase. As I told you that the total days is about 28 days. So the first phase, first event is about 1 to 5 days. 1 to 5 days is a one phase, and that phase name is menstrual phase. So what happened here? It is very important. In this phase, the cycle, actual cycle is start here. The first day of the bleeding, which consider as a first day of the menstrual cycle. Yes, this is not 28 days of the calendar. It may be any day, it may be any date of that woman. When the bleeding start, when the flow start, so that is considered as a first day of the menstrual cycle. On our average, this takes about 1 to 5 days. So the menstrual cycle is nothing but, as I told you, that bleeding. It consists about 3 to 5 days. So the bleeding, a continuous flow of breakdown of endometrium lining and blood vessels of the uterus, that all endometrium lining, blood vessels of uterus including egg also are come out through the vagina. Yes, this is the content of the bleeding. The bleeding, what is the bleeding? The bleeding is content, of course blood is there. Uh, Along with the blood there may be the endometrium linings, then blood vessels, then uterus layer, all are together and removed out, move from the body through the what? Vagina. This is we consider as a menstrual phase or nothing but bleeding phase. What happened here in a female reproductive tract? There is a preparation for the pregnancy, like improvement of uterus, development of egg, all are ready. But in absence of fertilization, in absence of sperm, those are going to be discharged out in the form of this bleeding. That is only considered as a menstrual cycle. It occurs, see here mentioned, it occurs if the released ovum is not fertilized. Yes, of course. Every month, every woman, every girl showing a menstrual cycle. So the absence of sperm, the absence of copulation, of absence of mating, those are not present in a female reproductive tract sperm, then there is a release of this, and that it means there is a occurrence of menstrual cycle. So lack of menstrual cycle. Suppose menstrual cycle does not happen. This is a direct indication of what? That woman is pregnant. Okay, fine. This is a first step, first phase of menstrual cycle. The phase is bleeding phase, which is called menstrual phase. So what happening here? In absence of sperm, in absence of mating, there is no fertilization. So along with the egg, the rest of the system is going to be ruptured or degenerated or going to be released out as a bleeding out of the body. Fine. So here is a one word, menarche, the first menstruation during puberty. Menarche, which may be asked for 1 marks in the examination. Menarche is nothing but first menstruation. So puberty, we know what you mean puberty. At certain age of the female, a puberty period is going to be start. The first menstrual is menarche. Now fine. The second phase of the cyclic event, this phase is going to be repeat in the next cycle. So like this there are phases, because of that only it is a cyclic event. So what is the next cycle? What is the next phase? That is the follicular phase, which also called proliferative phase. So students, here 1 to 5 days required or takes place in the menstrual cycle, then 6 to 13 days are busy with the follicular phase. So let us understand what happened in this phase, what happened in this event. So this start from the 6th day of the menstrual cycle and complete up to the 13th day. So it takes about 8 to 9 days. So in this phase, the release of FSH and LH. I tell you that in our body there are many hormones are released by our pituitary glands and other endocrine glands. So these two hormones are released by pituitary. Here mentioned pituitary, one of the endocrine gland. This gland is going to synthesize or release of these two hormones. Yes, these two hormones function as, so I'm written here as a stimulate. Stimulate means they give force to functioning, they give स्टिमुलेट का मीनिंग ही स्टार्ट किया करने का सिग्नल को कहते हैं. सो FSH यानी कि फॉलिकुलर स्टिमुलेटिंग हार्मोन stimulate the development of primary follicle into Graafian follicle. Yes. So we have studied the development of follicles, primary, secondary, and ultimately the Graafian follicles in the ovary. When the released egg is removed out in menstrual phase, the next cycle, the next preparation, the next egg is going to be developed only by a message come from the pituitary in the form of FSH hormone. This is initiate or push the development of primary follicle into, yes, Graafian follicle. The Graafian follicle is nothing but mature follicle which having egg. Yes. This follicle secrete estrogen. Estrogen is the name of the hormones. This estrogen is the name of the hormones. Estrogen is one of the hormones secreted by Graafian follicle, and this estrogen is responsible for proliferation of ruptured uterus. Yes, I mentioned here that जो इस फेज में menstrual फेज में जो चीज़ खराब हो गई थी, जैसे कि एंडोमेट्रियम वॉल, ठीक है, वो यहाँ रिपेयर हो रही है. proliferation का मतलब रिपेयरिंग, it is going to be repaired. So ruptured uterus, the repaired proliferation of this wall because of the hormone estrogen, and estrogen is synthesized by Graafian follicle, and Graafian follicle basically was primary follicle. This primary to become Graafian due to the presence of hormone FSH, and FSH is synthesized by puberty in the phase called follicular phase, that is in the time 6 to 13 days. Yes. So ultimately, the function of estrogen is the repairing proliferation of ruptured uterine endometrium, lining, oviduct, and the vagina. And it also take a role in the development of secondary sexual character of the female. The female secondary sexual character are developed because of presence of a hormone estrogen. Okay. So in the second phase, we have studied proliferation is nothing but the repair of the all ruptured linings of the female reproductive tract, then development of follicles, primary follicle into secondary follicle. So those thing happen in a proliferative phase, 6 to 13 days, means second phase. Now let us proceed the next phase, third phase of the menstrual cycle, that is the ovulatory phase. Students, in menstrual cycle, the first 5 days is the bleeding. Everything will be removed out. The 6 to 13 days is repairing phase, where everything is prepared. Uterine wall is prepared, endometrium is prepared, follicles are matured, and now the time is release of egg. Hence, this phase is called ovulatory phase, where here FSH and LH, luteinizing hormone and follicular stimulating hormone, attain a peak level in the middle of the cycle. Yes, it is the middle of the cycle. 14th day means middle of the cycle, where the rapid secretion of these two hormones, FSH and LH, which is called LH surge, induce means force, उसको शुरू करना, induce का meaning, induces rupture of Graafian follicle. Now you only tell me that what contain Graafian follicle? Yes, of course, the egg is inside the Graafian follicle. When this is ruptured, जब ये फट जाता है Graafian follicle, तब निकल कर आता है egg, जिसे हम कहते हैं ovulation. And this is takes place at the what? 14th day of the menstrual cycle. इस phase को हम कहते हैं ovulatory phase. Yes. Then the after release of egg, the release of egg on 14th day, now 15 to 28 days, what happening in these days, which is considered as a secretory phase or luteal phase. Yes, so in this phase, after ovulation, means release of egg from the ovary or from Graafian follicle, after release of egg, Graafian follicle is transferred into a yellowish endocrine mass of cells called corpus luteum. The corpus luteum is nothing but Graafian follicle. After release of egg, the empty portion of Graafian follicle is become a corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum is going to produce a hormone progesterone, and the progesterone action or function as endometrium attain maximum vascularity, thickness, softness, and the uterus get ready for the implantation. Yes, students, it's very important. See, bleeding first phase, I'll tell you here. Bleeding takes place here in this phase. Everything will be removed last month. and by this month 1 to 5th days is required for removing, then 6 to 13 days required for repair, then only 1 day is needed for release of the egg. Fine, it's clear. Then after release of egg, in this phase what happened, the empty part of the Graafian follicle become corpus luteum, and corpus luteum is going to synthesize estrogen hormone, and this estrogen hormone, the main function is to it attain maximum vascularity, thickness, softness of the uterus, because this is a place where after fertilization egg is going to be implanted. Yes. What do you mean implantation? Fertilized egg is transferred to uterus and implant into the uterus. That is the meaning of implantation. After implantation, that woman considered as a pregnant woman or pregnancy. So here this is happen, it is going to be ready, the uterus is going to be ready, and this phase is luteal phase. Yes, here we can say, here only this phase is required 15 to 28 days. Suppose here after 28 days, it's a time, it's a period of this phase. Suppose here after 28 days there is no sperm, there is no fertilization, then same this endometrium wall, yes, this uterus is again ruptured, release, and let us come, the cycle is going to be repeat. What is the first phase? Menstrual phase. Understood? Yes. So here the menstrual cycle like this is going to be working. Then FSS secretion is inhibited to prevent the development of second ovarian follicle. Yes, suppose the fertilization happen, the second ovarian follicle can be inhibited by FSH. In pregnancy, there is no menstruation. Yes, the absence of first menstrual cycle itself indication of pregnancy. So during the whole period of pregnancy, there is no menstruation, and this menstruation is nothing but release of the egg, is the indication of release of egg. So menstruation can be stopped in a woman. Yes, the production of sperm cannot be stopped in a man. Throughout man life can produce sperm, but the egg, the formation of egg in a woman, that is a menstrual cycle, can be stopped around 50 years of the age, and that phase is known as menopause. So students, I hope you can understand this topic, menstruation, one of the important topic for 5 marks in the chapter human reproduction. So in our next class we will continue our next topic. Suppose you have any doubt, means you can contact me. Contact me on this number 9986797038. So students, any doubt you have, means you can call me, or same number is a WhatsApp number also, you can type and send me, I will give you an answer. Thank you very much.